Stop scrolling and check your pocket now, because some ordinary-looking buffalo nickels are hiding silent fortune that most people spend without a second thought. Collectors are fighting over these forgotten coins, and the auction prices are causing real shock across America. Do not spend these coins. Nobody talks about how a dirty old nickel could change everything, but the next 3 coins get rarer, scarier, and more valuable. Stay till the end, because one tiny detail could mean you're holding hidden wealth worth a fortune. First up, the terrifying part about the 1917 Buffalo nickel with no mint mark is that thousands of people have probably spent one at gas stations, vending machines, or grocery stores without realizing they just let go of a 6-figure treasure. This is not fiction. A worn-out, poor, circulated example of this coin has stunned collectors by reaching around $130,000 in today's auction market. And what makes this even crazier is that most of these coins look damaged, dirty, faded, and completely ordinary to the untrained eye. That's exactly why this coin is so dangerous to ignore. People see scratches, dark toning, worn buffalo details, and weak lettering, then toss it aside like pocket junk. Meanwhile, serious collectors quietly hunt for them behind closed auction rooms. And when one finally appears, the bidding becomes aggressive, fast. Do not spend this coin, because one small detail changes everything. Back in 1917, the United States was under massive pressure. The country was moving deeper into economic uncertainty tied to World War I. Industries were shifting. Metal production was under stress. And the U.S. Mint was pushing hard to keep up with circulation demands. Coins were not treated like collectibles back then. They were workhorses. Americans carried them through factories, railroads, farms, bars, train stations, and war-era commerce. The Buffalo nickel was constantly moving hand to hand during one of the most emotionally tense periods in American history. That pressure created minting problems, rapid die wear, weak strikes, and inconsistent details that today's collectors obsess over. Most people never connect history to pocket change, but this coin carries the fingerprints of a nation under strain. Stay till the end, because what comes next is even bigger. The Buffalo nickel itself already has one of the most iconic designs in U.S. coin history, and the 1917 version without a mint mark has become especially mysterious. On the front side, also known as the obverse, you'll see the powerful Native American portrait facing right. Above the portrait appears the word liberty, while the year 1917 sits toward the lower left side. The designer, James Earl Fraser, wanted this coin to represent the real American frontier, not fantasy. The face was inspired by multiple Native American chiefs blended into one unforgettable image. Even in poor circulated condition, collectors stare at the cheekbones, braid lines, jaw contours, and date placement, looking for authenticity clues. Tiny surface textures matter. Small bumps matter. Even the darkness around the lettering matters. Most people miss this. Flip the coin over to the reverse side, and the legendary American buffalo stands proudly on raised ground. The words United States of America curve around the top edge, while E pluribus unum appears above the buffalo's back. Near the bottom sits the denomination 5 cents. But here's where the obsession begins. On the 1917 Philadelphia issue, there is no mint mark below the denomination. No tiny d, no s, just empty space. To normal people, that means nothing. To collectors, it means everything. That missing mint mark becomes a silent signal that can instantly separate an ordinary nickel from hidden wealth. Auction houses know it. Dealers know it. Longtime collectors know it. And now you know it too. What makes this coin even more unbelievable is its physical presence. When you actually hold a genuine 1917 Buffalo nickel, it feels heavier than modern pocket change emotionally, even though its official weight is only around 5 grams. The diameter measures approximately 21.2 millimeters, and the thickness comes in near 1.95 millimeters. The girth and edge profile feel rugged compared to modern coins because these nickels were built for brutal circulation. The composition contains 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving the coin its famous hard metallic durability. But that same hard metal also caused minting complications. Dies wore down quickly. Details faded early. Many coins left the mint with weak areas before they were even circulated. Then, decades of handling erased even more design features, making surviving examples incredibly difficult to authenticate and preserve today. Here's where the story gets emotional. Most surviving 1917 Buffalo nickels were abused for decades. They bounced through pockets during the Great Depression, wartime America, economic crashes, family hardships, and everyday survival. People did not save nickels back then. They spent them. That means many examples were literally worn nearly smooth by human hands over generations. So when collectors find a genuine 1917 no-mint mark Buffalo nickel today, even in poor circulated condition, they are not just buying metal. They are buying survival. They are buying history that somehow escaped destruction. Every scratch tells a story. Every faded line proves it lived through another decade. This detail changes everything. And now comes the part where people accidentally destroy fortunes. The second someone tries cleaning this coin, its value can collapse instantly. Never clean the coin. Never polish it. Never scrub dirt off with chemicals or baking soda. That dark surface collectors call original toning is not damage in their eyes. It is authenticity. The uneven darkness around the buffalo, the antique gray texture, the muted nickel shine hiding beneath decades of circulation, all of that creates emotional appeal. Collectors want originality, not artificial brightness. A cleaned buffalo nickel often looks lifeless and suspicious under professional examination. Once original surfaces are gone, they never come back. This is why professional grading is critical. One wrong decision can erase serious money forever. Auction behavior around this coin has become incredibly intense over the last several years. Quiet collectors who normally avoid attention suddenly become aggressive when a genuine 1917 no-mint mark Buffalo nickel enters the room. Some bidders wait silently for hours before jumping in during the final seconds. Others privately negotiate through dealers because they fear public exposure driving prices even higher. Demand keeps rising while supply keeps shrinking. Many long-term collectors refuse to sell once they finally secure one, especially examples with strong original surfaces and natural aging. That creates scarcity pressure. Fewer available coins means higher emotional competition every single year. Hidden wealth becomes harder to obtain once collectors lock these pieces away in vaults, safety deposit boxes, and private collections. The condition sensitivity on this coin is absolutely brutal. In poor circulated condition, tiny surviving details still matter enormously. Collectors inspect the date first. Then they examine the buffalo outline, horn visibility, lettering sharpness, and rim integrity. Even partial facial features on the Native American portrait can influence emotional bidding behavior. A weak but readable date can mean the difference between a common coin and a life-changing opportunity. That's why patience creates wealth in this hobby. Serious collectors study for years before buying. They know rushed decisions lead to expensive mistakes. Most people overlook worn nickels because they think ugly means worthless. In reality, some of the ugliest buffalo nickels are hiding silent fortune. Another reason this coin exploded in popularity is psychological. The buffalo nickel represents old America. It feels raw, untamed, and deeply connected to the frontier identity collectors romanticize. Modern coins feel cold and machine-made, but the 1917 buffalo nickel feels alive. People imagine cowboys, railroad workers, wartime citizens, dusty pockets, and forgotten family drawers. That emotional connection fuels collector obsession. It's no longer just about 5 cents. It's about owning a surviving piece of a vanished era. And because so many examples were destroyed, lost, melted, or worn smooth, every authentic survivor becomes more emotionally powerful. This is not fiction. These coins change everything for the people lucky enough to recognize them. If you think finding one is impossible, think again. Buffalo nickels still appear in inherited collections, garage sales, junk drawers, old piggy banks, estate boxes, flea markets, and forgotten jars. That's why you should always check the date immediately. Then, look for the missing mint mark. Then, stop yourself from cleaning it. Most people ruin value before they even realize what they found. Professional grading services can confirm authenticity, preserve condition, and dramatically increase market trust if the coin is genuine. Without grading, many buyers stay cautious. With grading, serious auction attention becomes possible. That single step can separate ordinary pocket change from hidden treasure worth a fortune. And the market value still shocks people. Around $130,000 for a poor, circulated 1917 buffalo nickel without a mint mark sounds unbelievable until you understand the rarity, survival rate, collector obsession, and auction competition surrounding this coin. This is serious money. This is silent fortune, sitting unnoticed in old collections while people continue spending nickels every day without checking dates. Imagine accidentally handing this coin to a cashier for 5 cents. Imagine discovering years later that you once owned a hidden treasure capable of changing your financial future. That fear alone keeps collectors searching non-stop across America. But don't relax yet, because the next buffalo nickel we're about to reveal is even more dangerous to ignore. What collectors discovered hiding inside that coin sent shockwaves through auctions, and one microscopic detail turned an ordinary-looking nickel into a prize so rare that bidders nearly lost control trying to own it. Stay ready, because what comes next makes this coin look calm. Most people would throw this buffalo nickel into a coin jar without even slowing down. That's the scary part. The 1923 buffalo nickel with no mint mark does not look special at first glance. In fact, many surviving examples look exhausted, dirty, faded, and almost forgotten. But hidden beneath that worn surface is one of the most emotionally chased coins in American collecting history. This coin has quietly slipped through thousands of hands while collectors across the country search desperately for authentic survivors. And if you ignore one tiny detail on this nickel, you could accidentally spend a silent fortune without realizing it. Do not spend this coin. What makes this story even crazier is that the rougher these coins look, the easier they are to overlook. Most people miss this. By 1923, America was entering a strange period of economic transition. The country was trying to stabilize after the chaos that followed World War I. Industries were changing rapidly, factories were pushing harder than ever, and the U.S. Mint continued forcing enormous numbers of coins into circulation to support a growing economy. Buffalo nickels weren't treated carefully. They were tossed into cash registers, dropped onto train counters, stuffed into work pants, and passed around in smoke-filled businesses every single day. The pressure on production during this era caused constant die fatigue and weak strikes, especially on coins meant for heavy circulation. That's one reason authentic 1923 buffalo nickels without mint marks became so difficult to preserve over time. These coins lived hard lives from the very beginning, and collectors today are obsessed with the few survivors that escaped complete destruction. The emotional power of this coin starts the moment you see the front design. The obverse features the unforgettable Native American portrait facing toward the right side of the coin. Above the profile appears the word Liberty, while the date 1923 rests lower along the shoulder area. Even in poor circulated condition, collectors carefully study the remaining facial contours, braid outlines, cheekbone structure, and faded lettering. Every tiny surviving detail matters. The portrait was designed by James Earl Fraser, who wanted the buffalo nickel to capture the real spirit of America instead of polished fantasy imagery. He combined features from multiple Native American chiefs into one powerful face that still feels emotionally heavy today. When collectors hold this coin, they are not just seeing metal. They are holding a piece of a disappearing American identity. Then comes the reverse side, and this is where the obsession gets serious. The back of the 1923 buffalo nickel shows the massive American buffalo standing firmly on raised ground. Along the top edge are the words United States of America, while a pluribus unum stretches above the animal's back. At the bottom sits the denomination 5 cents. But underneath that denomination is what changes everything. Absolutely nothing. No Denver mint mark. No San Francisco mint mark. Just empty space beneath the words. That missing mint mark signals the coin came from the Philadelphia Mint, and collectors pay extremely close attention to these no mint mark examples because authentic survivors in heavily circulated condition have become incredibly difficult to locate. Tiny details around the lettering, buffalo horn shape, and worn ground line become emotional triggers during authentication. This is not fiction. What makes this coin feel even more mysterious is its physical texture. A genuine 1923 buffalo nickel has a rugged feel that modern coins completely lack. Officially, the coin weighs approximately 5 grams and measures around 21.2 millimeters in diameter with a thickness near 1.95 millimeters. The girth feels compact but solid in the hand, especially because of the coin's copper-nickel composition containing 75% copper and 25% nickel. That metal mixture created durability for circulation, but it also caused serious minting stresses over time. Buffalo nickels were infamous for weak details because the hard metal wore down mint dies quickly. Dates faded, horns disappeared, facial details flattened. Many coins looked heavily worn only a short time after entering circulation. That means surviving examples today often appear rough, dark, and heavily aged. Exactly the type of coin most people ignore without a second thought. And that's where the danger begins. A poor circulated 1923 buffalo nickel can still stop collectors in their tracks if the remaining details are authentic and untouched. People assume damaged-looking coins cannot hold hidden wealth, but serious collectors think differently. They look for originality. They study surfaces under magnification, searching for untouched aging, natural wear patterns, and genuine circulation scars. A worn coin tells a survival story. Every scratch represents another decade. This nickel somehow escaped destruction. Many buffalo nickels from this period were melted, lost, discarded, or worn completely smooth beyond identification. So when collectors find one with a visible date and strong originality, even in rough condition, the emotional demand becomes intense. Supply keeps shrinking while obsession keeps growing. One reason the 1923 no mint mark Buffalo nickel creates such emotional auction battles is because collectors know these coins are disappearing into private hands permanently. Once serious buyers secure authentic examples, they rarely let them go. Some are stored inside vaults. Others disappear into family collections for generations. And because many survivors were mishandled decades ago, finding one with untouched surfaces has become increasingly rare. That's why original toning matters so much. The dark grey appearance, uneven antique coloring, soft nickel glow beneath old circulation wear. These features create authenticity collectors crave. Never clean this coin. The second someone scrubs, polishes, or chemically brightens the surface, the emotional connection disappears instantly. Cleaning destroys originality forever, and professional buyers can usually spot it within seconds. What scares collectors most is how easily this coin blends into ordinary pocket change. A beginner might see a faded buffalo and assume it's worthless. Meanwhile, experienced collectors immediately check the date area, lettering sharpness, horn visibility, and missing mint mark placement. They know tiny surviving details can completely transform market demand. Even partial design strength can influence competitive bidding. This detail changes everything. Some collectors specifically hunt for poor circulated examples because they believe those coins tell the purest historical story. These nickels survived decades of American hardship, roaring factories, economic collapses, war recoveries, and everyday working-class life. That emotional survival becomes part of the value itself. The auction environment surrounding this coin has become extremely aggressive in recent years. Quiet bidders suddenly become emotional when a genuine 1923 no mint mark Buffalo nickel appears. Some refuse to blink during bidding wars because they know another opportunity may not appear for months or even years. Others privately negotiate before auctions begin, hoping to avoid public competition, driving prices higher. Demand continues rising because collectors understand the math. Fewer authentic survivors remain every year. More buyers enter the hobby searching for hidden treasure. And unlike modern coins, these Buffalo nickels carry emotional weight tied directly to America's early 20th century identity. That combination creates serious pressure in the market. Professional grading has become absolutely critical for this coin because counterfeits and altered surfaces create major risks. Never assume a Buffalo nickel is authentic without proper evaluation. Collectors study edge wear, surface texture, date shape, and strike characteristics very carefully. One wrong cleaning attempt or fake alteration can destroy confidence instantly. That's why patience creates wealth in coin collecting. Serious buyers wait for the right example instead of rushing into cheap purchases. They understand that untouched originality is becoming harder to find every year. Most people spend old nickels without checking anything. Smart collectors stop, examine, and protect what others overlook. The 1923 Buffalo nickel also carries emotional appeal because of its connection to old American toughness. This was a coin designed during a time when the country still saw itself through frontier imagery and rugged survival. The buffalo itself symbolizes raw American strength, while the Native American portrait reflects cultural identity tied to a disappearing era. Collectors feel emotionally fuels obsession. It turns a 5-cent coin into something much bigger, a surviving artifact from another America. Now here comes the part most people can't believe. Even in poor circulated condition, a genuine 1923 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark has reached auction market values around $100,000 without relying on errors or unusual varieties. That means an ordinary-looking nickel with heavy wear and faded details can still represent hidden wealth sitting unnoticed in drawers, jars, and inherited collections across the country. This is serious money hiding in plain sight, a silent fortune disguised as worn metal. And the terrifying reality is that people are accidentally losing these coins every single day because they never stop to check the date. If you ever find a buffalo nickel, the first thing to examine is the date. Then, immediately check for the missing mint mark beneath the denomination on the reverse side. After that, resist the urge to clean it. Never use polish. Never scrape dirt away. Original surfaces are everything in this market. Store the coins safely and seek professional grading if the details appear authentic. Most people destroy value before they even understand what they found. That's why educated collectors stay patient and observant. One small discovery can change your financial future completely. And trust me, what comes next is even more unbelievable. The next buffalo nickel shocked collectors so badly that some experts refused to believe the auction results at first. One nearly invisible detail transformed that coin into a monster rarity people are terrified of overlooking today. Stay ready, because the next coin makes this one look easy to find. There's something deeply unsettling about the 1928 buffalo nickel with no mint mark, because people still spend this coin today without realizing what they're throwing away. That's what makes this story so dangerous. Somewhere right now, a worn-out buffalo nickel is sitting inside a junk drawer, a gas station register, or an old coffee can, and the person holding it has absolutely no idea they could be staring at hidden treasure. This coin does not scream wealth. It hides it. The faded surfaces, dark color, and rough appearance trick ordinary people into ignoring it completely, while serious collectors quietly chase authentic survivors with obsession-level intensity. Do not spend this coin. What you're about to hear sounds impossible, but this is not fiction. By 1928, America was standing on the edge of a massive shift. The roaring economy of the 1920s looked strong on the surface, but underneath, pressure was building across banks, industries, and financial systems. Factories were pushing hard, commerce was exploding, and coins moved constantly through businesses across the country. Buffalo nickels were part of everyday American survival. They passed through train depots, diners, barbershops, factory counters, and crowded city streets. Nobody imagined these coins would someday become collector targets worth life-changing money. They were used hard and spent fast. That intense circulation damaged countless examples beyond recognition, which is exactly why surviving 1928 buffalo nickels without mint marks became so emotionally important to collectors decades later. The first thing that captures people about this coin is the haunting front design. On the obverse side, the Native American portrait stares toward the right with incredible intensity, even when the coin is heavily worn. Above the head appears the word liberty, while the year 1928 rests near the lower shoulder area. Designed by James Earl Fraser, the portrait combined features from multiple Native American leaders to create a symbol of rugged American identity. Collectors obsess over tiny remaining details on this coin. They inspect the braid, jawline, forehead contours, feather textures, and faded date placement under bright light, searching for authenticity clues. Most people would never notice these details, but experienced collectors know one surviving feature can completely change the emotional and financial importance of the coin. Flip the coin over, and the reverse design immediately explains why the buffalo nickel became legendary in American coin history. The enormous buffalo stands powerfully across the center of the coin, with United States of America curved around the upper edge and E pluribus unum positioned above the animal's back. Near the bottom sits the denomination 5 cents. But here's where the tension begins. Underneath the denomination, there is no mint mark at all. No tiny D, no S, just blank space. That missing mint mark identifies the coin as a Philadelphia Mint issue, and collectors are completely obsessed with authentic no mint mark. Examples from 1928, because so many disappeared forever through decades of circulation damage. One tiny missing letter changes everything. What makes the 1928 Buffalo nickel feel even more special is its physical presence in the hand. The coin officially weighs around 5 grams and measures approximately 21.2 millimeters in diameter with a thickness near 1.95 millimeters. The girth feels sturdy and compact, giving the coin a rugged personality modern coins simply don't have anymore. Its composition contains 75% copper and 25% nickel, creating the tough metallic structure needed for heavy circulation. But that same hard metal also caused problems at the mint. Dies wore down quickly. Details weakened. Surfaces flattened faster than expected. Many Buffalo nickels left the mint already lacking strong, detailed definition. And once they entered circulation, years of use erased even more design features. That's why surviving examples today often look rough, dark, and heavily aged. And strangely enough, that rough appearance is exactly what creates emotional power in the collector market. A poor circulated 1928 Buffalo nickel tells a survival story. Every faded detail proves the coin lived through generations of American history. These nickels survived the final years before the Great Depression changed the country forever. They passed through struggling families, working-class hands, economic uncertainty, and decades of ordinary spending. Most were eventually lost, melted, damaged, or worn completely smooth. So, when collectors find one with a visible date and authentic surfaces, even in poor condition, it feels like rescuing a forgotten piece of America itself. Hidden wealth often hides inside ugly surfaces. Most people miss this because they think old automatically means worthless. One of the biggest mistakes people make with Buffalo nickels is cleaning them. Never clean this coin. The dark toning, uneven color, antique texture, and natural circulation wear are critical parts of its authenticity. The second someone scrubs the surface or tries making the coin shiny again, serious collectors immediately lose interest. Original toning matters because it proves the coin survived naturally over time without artificial interference. Professional grading companies look very closely at surface integrity, and cleaned examples can lose enormous market respect instantly. This detail changes everything. A naturally worn coin with untouched surfaces can create stronger emotional demand than a brighter coin ruined by cleaning. Collectors also become extremely focused on tiny design elements unique to Buffalo nickels. On the 1928 no mint mark issue, they inspect the buffalo horn visibility, lettering sharpness, rim strength, and date clarity very carefully. Some collectors even examine microscopic surface flow lines and strike weakness patterns caused by mint die fatigue. That's because Buffalo nickels from this era were notorious for inconsistent strikes. Mint workers pushed production hard, and dies deteriorated rapidly under pressure. Weakly struck areas became common, especially on heavily circulated coins. Authenticating these details requires patience and experience, which is why professional grading is critical if you believe you've found a genuine example. The emotional obsession surrounding this coin has intensified dramatically in recent years because collectors understand the supply problem. Fewer authentic 1928 Buffalo nickels remain every year. Many are already locked away inside private collections where they may never return to the market. Some families hold them for generations because they see them as pieces of silent fortune instead of simple coins. Others disappear into vaults and safety deposit boxes after auctions. This shrinking supply creates serious tension every time an authentic example appears publicly. Quiet collectors suddenly become aggressive bidders because they know another opportunity may not come anytime soon. Auction rooms become emotionally charged fast when these coins appear. And here's what makes this coin so terrifying to ignore. It still blends into ordinary circulation mistakes. Someone cleaning out a drawer could accidentally spend one tomorrow without ever checking the date or mint mark area. That's exactly how hidden treasure disappears. Buffalo nickels often look too worn to matter, which tricks people into ignoring them completely. But experienced collectors understand something the average person doesn't. Survival itself creates rarity. The fact that a coin endured nearly a century of circulation without total destruction becomes part of its value story. This is not fiction. These coins continue slipping through unnoticed hands every single day. The collector demand for the 1928 no mint, marked Buffalo, nickel keeps growing because the coin connects emotionally with American history in a very personal way. The Buffalo design symbolizes strength, endurance, and frontier survival, while the Native American portrait represents an older America many collectors feel emotionally attached to. Holding this coin feels different from holding modern currency. It feels heavier emotionally. Collectors imagine where it traveled: old rail stations, factory floors, corner stores, busy sidewalks, and family-owned diners during one of the most transformative eras in U.S. history. That emotional connection fuels competitive demand in the market. Now comes the shocking reality most people cannot believe. Even in poor circulated condition, the 1928 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark has reached auction market values around $80,000 without requiring rare errors or unusual varieties. Think about that for a second. A worn nickel that many people would casually throw into a junk coin pile can represent serious money and life-changing opportunity. That's silent fortune hiding in plain sight. And because the coin doesn't look flashy or modern, ordinary people continue losing them constantly. The hidden wealth stays invisible until the right collector notices the details everyone else ignored. If you ever come across a Buffalo nickel, the first thing you should check is the date. Then immediately examine the reverse side below 5 cents to see whether a mint mark is missing. Never rush to clean it. Never polish it. Keep the surfaces exactly as they are and seek professional grading before making assumptions about value. Patience creates wealth in coin collecting because rushed decisions destroy opportunities. Many people damage rare coins before they even realize what they found. Smart collectors stay calm, study the details carefully, and protect originality above everything else. And that's what makes Buffalo nickels so addictive to collectors. They are not just coins. They are forgotten survivors carrying pieces of American history inside worn metal surfaces most people never examine closely enough. Every scratch tells a story. Every faded line represents decades of survival. And somewhere out there, another rare Buffalo nickel is still hiding unnoticed, waiting for someone observant enough to stop and look carefully before spending it forever. If this video made you check your pocket change differently, hit subscribe to Money Vault USA right now, because the next hidden coin we uncover is even more unbelievable. Collectors are already panicking over it, and one tiny detail could turn an ordinary-looking coin into a fortune most people will accidentally spend without ever knowing what they lost.